You can see, though, why we have recorking clinics. You know, that is quite crumbly.
It is indeed.
It should. And the moment that comes up, in goes a protective gas. Depending upon what country we're in and what regulators we can get hold of, we'll use one of two gases. We'll quite often use argon, or sometimes we'll use a carbon dioxide nitrogen mixture. And that dispels any oxygen that might be in there, but more importantly, it creates a protective layer above the surface of the wine during this assessment phase.
Beautiful.
Now, we'll only pour 15 ml, a tiny amount or less. If you pour more than 15 ml, that's actually more than 2% of the volume of the bottle. So you really then do start to affect the integrity of what's there. Now, we've done sensory testing at the end of a clinic, a year later and 10 years later, comparing a recork bottle with one untouched out of museum. And people can't tell any difference, and T-test, difference tests and whatever. So yes, you are affecting something because you're adding a little bit of wine, but nothing that is beyond threshold.
Yeah.
So the only way to see if this wine is as it should be for the vintage is to taste. And that's what we do now. Now, the automatic temptation is to go straight for the glass. And you actually have to stop yourself from doing that because you actually can create an incorrect first impression. So what I tend to do is I sort of play with the glass for a little while, get a bit of a swirl and sort of keep it at bay. And then, after a little bit of air gets into it, I create that first impression smeller. And so far, so good. That looks absolutely terrific. The look of the wine, the aromatics, that's what an 87-389 ordinarily smells like.
Yep.
But the taste test is the important one. Magnificent. Absolutely magnificent.
This is what we wanted to hear.
Yeah, and by this stage the person has lifted themselves off the ground and, oh, here we go. You know, it's everything an 87 should be like, but it doesn't stop here because the owner gets to taste his or her wine. In this instance, having tasted that, I would be saying to you as the owner of the bottle, well, even though the book might say drink to 2015 or 2020, for that particular glass out of that particular bottle, if it were mine, I'd be drinking that within a year or two.
Right.
Regardless of what the book says.
Yes.
For that bottle.
Yes.
So I guess that in summary what I'm saying is that's the wine, that's the glass, you know about the cellaring more so than me. I can actually certify that bottle because it is as it should be. It's not the best example of an 87 I've seen, but it's beyond that point of acceptability and certification.
It's above the line.
Yeah. In a meal scenario, that will just arise with a decant.
Yeah. No, it's beautiful.
But I'd be drinking it within a couple of years.
Yeah, dusty on the finish at the moment, so I tend to agree with Peter. Look, why would I argue with him? That's in the latter stages of its life, but it's certainly not dead. And so the next step, obviously, to signifying that this one is alive and well.
Yeah, the all-important certification, and in this instance, off the label comes a number, which goes on to this form, which actually goes into a data bank. So it's all fed into a computer, and that matches the certification label that we will put onto the bottle. Now, in this instance, it's an 87 bin 389 Cabernet Shiraz, and this has all sorts of black light security things on it and all sorts of things I'm not allowed to even talk about. And that will go onto the back of the bottle. Okay? So if, for example, let's just say this is a 1951 Grange or something, and it appears at a Christie's auction in New York and it looks a little bit too good, they can ring up and say, look, we've just received this bottle, da-da-da-da. We say, no, in Melbourne at the Langham Hotel on Thursday, September, whatever, a bottle was with this number and everything's verified.
Beautiful.
Yeah. But that's just the start of the process, of course. That's the assessment phase. The second stage, the important stage now, is the actual physical recorking.
Beautiful.
Now, we've done this with one bottle. They're clinics. People will book in for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour with one bottle, 10 bottles, 20 bottles. They might be Grange, 389, St Henri, bin 707. All they have to do is book in an appointment.
Beautiful.
And as earlier mentioned, they're free, 19 years, boom. Here we are.
Beautiful. And as you said, we've got one more clinic in Australia in Perth coming up
next week, yeah.
But I believe you're also heading off overseas soon enough to repeat this process.
Yeah, we head off to the States and Canada. We're doing clinics in Los Angeles, Dallas, Manhattan, and then up into Toronto.
Beautiful.
Yep.
All right, so we know we get a lot of North American viewers via iTunes, so guys, if you've got old bottles of Penfolds sitting around that you're wondering whether or not they're right for the picking now, make sure you get along. Peter will be there along with other Penfolds winemakers, so make sure you take them up on the opportunity. Peter, thank you for your time today.
My pleasure.
Let's go and get somebody to put a new cork in this.
Okay, that's the important part. Congratulations, well done, well done.
Thank you. So the next step, obviously, is putting a new cork in this because, obviously, as we saw, the old cork crumbled, but the wine was still fine. So, Ben, show us through what's going to happen now.
What we'll do here for you is recork, obviously, your bottle in this vacuum corker we've brought along with us. This will get a new Penfolds 2010 Red Wine Clinic cork, being a 389.
Look at the size of that. It's an uncompressed cork. We don't see a lot of them ourselves.
And if it was a Grange, obviously we've got Grange printed corks for Grange bottles.
Beautiful.
So, all right. First up, I'll just load it in the corker for you. So that's in the jaws ready to go, and just extract a little bit of wine out to set a good level, just to allow for the cork in a small headspace, and again a bit more gas, just to protect the wine while it's open. And like I said, this is simulates what's done on a packaging line, all under vacuum. There you have a good wine level, brand new cork. Almost as new, rejuvenated bottle for you.
Marvellous. Ben,
there you go.
Thank you very much. I'm going to take this one home. I'm going to drink it in the next year or so because that's what Peter told me to do. But marvellous.
Excellent.
Thank you for your
Enjoy
time.
that.
And I love that this one's come across as a ripper. So thanks for joining us on Wine Week. As I said, if you've got a bottle that you can get along to a Penfolds clinic, make sure you do, because if nothing else, you'll know for certain whether that old bottle is something special or whether or not it's time to drink it right now.